let's talk.
I do love the transition between those two
Yeah,
thoughts.
that's right.
And now, ironically, £1 is the equivalent of 400 Australian dollars. So
That's right,
A little bit of money
exactly.
facts for everybody.
Exactly. Or as Nick Bradley likes to call it, funny money. Okay, what do you do for work?
So I travel the world as a keynote speaker.
Yeah.
I would say is what I do mostly.
And you have been on our podcast several times. You've done a lot on the This Is Work podcast with Shelley.
Yeah.
Now, what would you do different? And you now live in London.
Yeah, I've been here for 2 years.
Yeah,
Just
okay.
tipped over 2 years.
Yeah, cool. What would you do differently when arriving in London now, knowing what you know?
Oh gosh, a lot of things. I think one of the first things I found was when moving over, I probably underestimated just what kind of runway you need to kind of set up life here. Because I think in terms of like, I definitely saved some money. So for some context, I moved my business over here, but I still very much work across Australia, the UK and the US. And the main reason for moving here was because it's 26 hours to travel anywhere in the world from Australia. So I wanted to be somewhere that maybe felt a bit more central to the rest of the world. I wanted to expand my business around the world. And so I had runway in my business lined up, knowing that it was going to take a little bit of extra time to find clients here. I probably...
But that's going to be different for someone who doesn't work for themselves.
100%.
Yeah.
But I would say still, if you're moving over here, the kind of runway you need if you don't have a job when you move here, or if you are looking to just kind of come over just to, travel here or whatever, I think the exchange rate, you don't realize very quickly how quickly you burn through cash. And so making sure you've got a good long runway of preparation before you move is a big one.
Yeah. And so just for those listening, and people will see at the end of the video on YouTube, the after party, the spooky magician wildness.
Yeah.
So you're doing that stuff. You're doing like leadership type stuff.
Yeah.
Like, what type of organization would book you, and for what?
Yeah, so the spooky stuff that we're talking about, the weird thing has been kind of an iteration of my business. A lot of the work that I've been doing in the last few years has been around helping organizations define and design their culture. So what does it look like to create places where people don't hate going to work on Monday morning?
Show of hands. Does anyone here hate work? No one hates
will admit
work.
to that.
Yeah.
No, of course
Camera's not on you guys.
Because your organizations are great.
Camera
They're
is
fantastic.
not on you.
Yeah, so a lot of organizations will typically invite me to come in and talk about how they can create culture by design. And the iteration of my business has evolved into helping people discover what is the kind of hidden magic in work and in life. So how do they find things that light them up, that create great engaged workplaces? And then obviously on the side of things, I try to read people's minds just for fun.
You really do. So anyway, we'll put Shane's website in the show notes if anyone wants to reach out and book you for corporate events or anything like that, wherever they are in Australia or the US or anywhere in the world. What did you and because your wife moved here with you?
Yeah.
What did you guys do for accommodation when you arrived? Did you have anything lined up?
Yeah, I was really grateful to have friends here.
Right.
And so was able to move in with them just for the first month, just to try and look for places on the ground. It's so hard to try and inspect from afar. And so that allowed, like I said, it's just kind of all these things around having a bit of a runway makes things incredibly different. And I should acknowledge I have a bit of a privilege in the sense that my dad was born in the UK, so I've got a British passport,
right,
which is basically what everyone's hoping for. And so the move was a lot easier because of that.
Anyone here in the room have some ancestry ties other than myself and Shane? Yeah. Gemma? Yeah.
My grandparents.
Grandparents?
So it actually turned out that my grandma was born and raised in the street that I live in now.
Wow. If you couldn't hear that, her grandma was born and raised in the street that she lives now.
And I didn't know that until after I got the place. And I was like, why is that street name familiar? I was searching my messages with my mum, and mum had sent me her mum's birth certificate months before, and I was like,
wow.
Wow, that's awesome. Wow. I love.
It's incredible.
She's a mentalist. Basically. How are you and your wife managing money here, other than with great difficulty?
I made jokes about the exchange rate before. The challenge for me is that I have an Australian company and a UK company. So all of my Australian my clients are still invoiced through my Australian company. My UK clients and US are invoiced through my UK company. But in terms of managing, I obviously will transfer money out of my business and pay myself in Australia, which I have to transferred to UK currency. So it's really difficult at the moment. Hence the reason why my push at the moment is to build up the UK part of my business. So earning in pounds and living in pounds is a much better experience than earning in dollars and living in pounds.
I live in kilos. Lots of them. So what are your plans, medium to long term? Is here home forever, do you think?
Look, I think one of the things I found moving to the UK is it put me in a bigger world, being able to be much more of a global city. Australia is always going to be home for me, and I'm there every 6 weeks, but I think there's something about being here that enlarges your perspective. So I think it will be difficult to go back to where I was. It feels a little bit like when you transplant a pot plant and the root system grows out to fill the plant, and then you try and shove it back in the smaller plant where it was, and you can make it work, but you do sacrifice some things to go back. So potentially we'll go back, but at the moment, my plan is to come to live much more of a global nomadic life.
And how did you and your wife make friends in London town?
On the tube, which is a weird thing. If you ever tell a British person you made friends on the tube, you know what? I had someone sit next to me and they said, do you realise the person you talked to on the tube could have been a person who has escaped from prison? And I was like, I love that your default response is that this person could have escaped from prison rather than they could just be a really nice person.
I went to Redemption Coffee today.
Yeah.
It's a roaster.
Yep.
And 20% of employees are ex-cons.
Ah.
So I got coffee from a
That's great.
murderer, which, I mean...
Well, yeah.
it's good that they're getting back into society. And I think the reason... These glasses are from American Airlines at the Holiday Inn. They're American airline tumblers. No, is that American?
That's an American Airlines logo. Yeah, absolutely.
Haven't had my Ritalin, as you can tell. Anyway, I just think it was a cool story that, I got coffee from Redemption. Anyway, the tube.
Yeah.
One
of the things you find is whenever you move somewhere new, the people you're most likely to connect with are people who are expats, because we're used to living in a place where you don't grow up with people, so you're used to being able to make friends with strangers.
I was thinking today, on the tube, it's so good for a society to be around strangers and other people. Like, I was on the thing and the doors open and I watched these people try and get on with their suitcases and luggage, and this other random guy just helped them on, and yeah, it was just nice.
You definitely see the best and worst of people on the tube.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, maybe I haven't tubed enough.
There's some beautiful experiences on the tube. There's also some horrible experiences on the tube, but mostly...
I love it. Okay, the tube. And any other conventional ways?
Yes. I mean, most of the time it's connecting you with certain groups. Like when you do move somewhere new, you have to recognise that it takes time to really feel like you can belong in a place. And the way that I've used it as a bit of a litmus test of when you belong somewhere is when you start to appear in people's stories. When you hang out with people and you talk and they all tell their stories, but you're not in them. And then you fast forward a year and then you tell stories and then you start to appear in people's stories. So it can feel really lonely in the first year.
I need a whiteboard for that analogy.
Well, it is. So if you think about the last time you went out with people, what you do is you spend the night recounting your history. But if you're new, you're not in that history. So it usually takes about a year. And once you've been around for a year, you've built some friends, you'll start showing up in stories and it'll make you feel much less lonely. So if you move somewhere new, don't feel overwhelmed if the first year feels really lonely, because it will just take some time to feel like you belong.
I wanted to move to London last year for 3 months or so. And even after being away for 5 weeks, I can't travel by myself. Does anyone get lonely? Is that TMI? I know everyone is.
No, of course.
I get lonely.
No, it's not. It's not
it just hits me harder.
Yeah.
And... I did the tour with Sarah the other night, and I said to her, we had dinner after, I'm like, if I just would have been, it just wouldn't have been as good doing, I would have done it by myself, but just to share the experience with someone, I was like, oh yeah, there's an old painting. Yeah, that was nice. Yeah, so.
Well, isn't that kind of the whole perspective on life, is it's better done with people rather than on your own?
Yeah. Interesting. Well, Shane took me to Soho House for dinner the other night. He's a member, yeah. Rich much?
I'm sorry for people listening.
If you were to recommend one place to go and eat or drink at, what and where would it be in London?
Oh, gosh. Look, first place that popped into my mind is Dishoom for breakfast. Tuscan
We
for
tried to
breakfast.
go the other night.
Yeah.
Sarah's like, oh, there'll be no one there.
But breakfast is
Right.
breakfast is great. Yeah, breakfast is really great there.
Should I go tomorrow morning
Yeah,
for
let's
breakfast?
go.
All right, who wants to meet tomorrow morning for breakfast at Dishoom?
What time is breakfast?
I don't know. Do people have jobs here?
It's just around the corner too.
Oh, there's one here in Kensington.
Yeah.
All right.
As well.
All right. Well, Shane, we might say thanks for sharing a bit of your London
you.
story. Thank you for wowing all of us before the night started. And you can follow Shane on Instagram at
Well, Shane the Mentalist.
Shane the Mentalist.
Or Shane M. Hatton.
Shane M. Hatton.
Yeah.
He is mental. Shane, thank you so much.
Thanks, Glennie.
Give him a hand, everyone. And hey, it's Glenn here. Thank you so much for watching today's video. You made it to the end. Can I ask a favor? Can you hit that like button and maybe hit subscribe if you want to get notified when we release further videos just like this one, whether you watch the Money, Money, Money podcast or Retire Right. And remember, if you want to learn more about investing, I've got an investing book, The Quick Start Guide to Investing, and there's a link in the description to get your hands on a copy. Thank you so much. Bye.